Sexual reproduction in plants. As you know, for sexual reproduction, gametes, sex cells are required. And these sex cells or gametes, they are produced by male and female reproductive parts of the plant. And in plants, both male and female reproductive parts, they are present in flowers. Now, in lower classes you have studied a flower has 4 whorls. The outermost is calyx, which is collection of sepals. Then second, corolla, which is a collection of petals, brightly colored part of the flower. Then next is androecium, which is the male reproductive part of the flower. It produces male gamete, pollens. Each androecium, as androecium is a collection of stamen, each stamen has 2 important parts. The upper one, this bilobed structure, it is called as anther, and this is called as filament. Just at the tip of the filament, anthers are present. If we cut this anther transversely, inside it 4 chambers are present. Now if we cut an anther transversely, inside it 4 chambers are there. They are called as pollen chambers. Here pollen grains are produced, which are male gametes. They carry male nuclei for the process of fertilization. After that, the last whorl of the flower is gynoecium. Gynoecium is the innermost part of the flower or whorl of the flower. This is the female reproductive part which has female nuclei or gamete known as egg cell. Now here each gynoecium is a collection of carpel. In gynoecium, 1 or more than 1 carpels are present. Now each carpel or pistil, it has 3 parts. The upper part which receive male gamete pollen grains, that is called as stigma. Then after that, this narrow neck like part, it is called as style. And the last swollen part is ovary. Inside the ovary, ovules are present, and in this ovule only female gamete or egg cell is present, which is required for the process of fertilization. At the one end of the ovule, one small opening is there, and that opening is micropyle, from where male gamete enter the ovule. Now beta, flowers, some flowers do not have pistil. Now male and female parts, male part androecium, collection of stamens, female part gynoecium, collection of carpel, or we call as pistil. Now if a flower is having both male and female reproductive parts, those flowers are called as bisexual flower. Like this, both reproductive parts are present, so these flowers are called as bisexual flowers, like rose, china rose, lily, etc. There are some flowers which have either male part or female parts. Such flowers are called as unisexual flowers. The flowers of maize, bottle gourd, pumpkin, bitter gourd, they are unisexual flowers. Now, as male and female gamete are produced by 2 different parts in the flower, so for the process of fertilization, they have to meet. For this, there is another process which is very important, and that is pollination. But a pollination, it is a transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma. This is the first step in sexual reproduction of flowering plants. When the anther get mature, they burst, and when they burst, they release pollen grains. These pollen grains sometimes by themselves reaches the stigma, or sometimes they need pollinating agents which carry them from anther to stigma. And this process of transferring pollen grains from anther to stigma, so that they can reach egg cell for fertilization is called as pollination. Now beta, pollination, it is of two types. The first is self-pollination and second is cross-pollination. Now definition of self-pollination: when the pollen grain is transferred from anther to stigma of the same flower. From anther to stigma of the same flower or flower born on the same plant. That is called as self-pollination. Look at this diagram. Here one bisexual flower is present. Now if pollen grain from anther are transferred to stigma of the same flower or from anther to stigma of the another flower growing on the same plant, that is called as self-pollination. Whereas if pollen grains are transferred from anther to stigma of the another flower growing on another plant but of same species, that is called as cross-pollination. Now self-pollination occur by itself. They don't require any helpers. But for cross-pollination, as the pollen grains are to be transferred from one plant to another plant, agents are required, helpers are required, and these are called as pollinating agents. Most of the flower, they pollinate by the means of wind, water, or insects. And according to the pollinating agent, cross-pollination is further divided into wind pollination, water pollination, and insect pollination. One by one, we will do this also. Now, starting with wind pollination. Wind pollinated flowers, these are the flowers where pollen grains are transferred from anther to stigma by the means of wind. Means wind carries pollen grains from one flower to another flower growing on another plant of the same species. Wind pollination, it is also called as anemophily. Anemos means wind and philos means loving, wind lovings. As pollen grains are carried by the means of wind, it is called as anemophily. Wind pollinated flowers, they have some characteristics. What are those? First of all, the pollen grains produced by wind pollinated flowers, they are very light and very small, so that they can be easily carried by the wind from one place to another. Now, wind pollinated flowers, they produce pollen grains in large amount, so that when they are transferred from one flower to another flower, their loss can be compensated. These flowers, they are very small in size, they are not brightly colored, they do not have showy petals, or they do not produce scent or nectar, because these things are not required for wind pollination. Only pollen grains are very light, and these anthers, they are hanging out of the flower. Not only anthers, the stigma, it is also hanging out of the flower for easy catching of the pollen grains which comes with wind. Plants of the grass family such as rice, wheat, maize, they are pollinated by wind. Now the next is insect pollination. Insect pollination is also called as entomophily. Entomon means insects and phily means loving. Here the pollen grains are transferred from anther of one flower to stigma of another flower growing on another plant by the means of insects. You know that most of the insects, they visit flowers to suck nectar, which is food for them, like honeybees, butterflies, they suck nectars from the flowers. And when for sucking nectars, they sit over the flower, and when they sit, these pollen grains, they get stick to their bodies, and when they move from one flower to another flower, they help in the process of pollination. Now, what are the characteristics of insect pollinated flowers? Beta, as insects are the pollinating agents and they are visiting flowers to get nectar. So these flowers, they produce nectar. They also produce scent to attract insects. They are brightly colored, again to attract insects. They are large in size so that insects can see them properly. The stigma of these flowers is sticky. It is sticky to receive pollen grains when insect sits over them for sucking of the nectars. After this, the examples of wind pollinated flowers are sunflower, jasmine, fig, or the largest flower, Rafflesia. Now the next is water pollination. Water pollination is seen in aquatic plant, submerged aquatic plant, water plants only, like Hydrilla, Vallisneria. These plants produce small, colorless and inconspicuous flowers. Both Hydrilla and Vallisneria, they are either male or female, means the flowers are unisexual. Hydrilla can also bear flowers of both the sexes on the same plant. Now, this is one of the diagram here. As the flowers are unisexual, they grow at two different heights. Female flowers, they have long stalk and they grow nearby the surface of the water, and the male flowers, they grow underwater. The pollen grains which are produced, the flowers, their specific gravity is matching with the water. When they get mature, like male flower, as they grow at the bottom, when they get mature, they get detached from the plant body, and due to their specific gravity equal to the water, as soon as they get detached from the plant body, they come to the surface and they start flowing with the moving current of the water. On the way, if female flower is there, they meet with it and pollination occur. This water pollination is also called as hydrophily. Hydro means water. Now next is artificial pollination. Artificial pollination is a method by which, artificially means it is a man-made method. If it is done by the artificial means, if pollination is done by the artificial means to get desired characteristics in a plant, that is called as artificial pollination. Here, to begin with the artificial pollination, two varieties with one or more desired characteristics are selected. But the important condition for this artificial pollination is they must belong to the same species. The stamen of the flower of one variety are removed before the anther get mature. Gynoecium, it is covered with bag when during the removal of stamen so that mixing does not occur. After removal of the stamens, the bag from the gynoecium is removed, and then the stamens or that pollen grains from another desired plants, they are collected with the help of brush and they are brushed over the gynoecium of the selected plant. Here, as pollen grains are sprinkled over the gynoecium by the artificial means, that's why it is called as artificial pollination. This process of obtaining a new variety by the artificial mean is also called as hybridization, and new variety of the plant which will get the desired characteristics of both the plant is called as hybrid. Many hybrid varieties are developed by artificial pollination. For example, varieties of rice, wheat, maize, cotton, rose and sugarcane. With this, we have covered with pollination. Next, we are going to start with fertilization.